You got a little bit overexcited about the website you were talking about on the podcast this week and the quiz that was on it.
Yeah.
And while I totally get what you say about getting engaged, I'm very impatient. And if I hit one of those kind of quizzy things, I'm like, so what if the quiz is not right for the person? Like, what if the person just wants to get in there and hire you?
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Podcast.
Another Byte.
Hi, I'm Sophie Law and welcome back to Another Byte. This is the YouTube show for MSPs who want to improve their marketing and grow their business. Every week, we dive deeper into the latest episode of the MSP Marketing Podcast with its host, Paul Green, and some special guests. I suppose I have to start by asking, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And
Okay.
I nearly didn't make this recording because our lovely 9-month-old cat has been out hunting all day. And we walked into the house about 4 minutes ago. And I thought, great, I've got enough time to put my headphones in and get ready for the recording. And then I heard this shriek from upstairs, there's a dead mouse in my bedroom.
Adding that to the list of reasons I don't have a cat.
Well, yes. And that thing is, though, as I said to my daughter, at least it's a dead mouse. It could have been a lot worse, right?
I suppose so. Wow, I mean, what a choice, though. Anyway, RIP, Dead Mouse. Let's get on to episode 125, where you talked about lots of interesting things, including working on the business, not working in the business. And I feel like if this was Squid Game, we would call it red light, green light. So how do you switch the green light on and the red light off? Because I like the red light.
No, I get that. And everyone likes the red light. And every MSP, or most MSPs, have started the business because they like doing the technical stuff. So being paid by people who trust you to do the technical stuff seems great. The problem with, let's call that working in the red light. The problem with all the red light stuff is it doesn't get you to where you want to be. Because I know, Sophie, you don't own your own business yet. I'm gonna convert you in the years ahead. But when you first start your business, you're really happy doing the thing that you're doing, and you're really happy being paid for it. But then what happens is you need a little bit more work, and then you need a bit of extra help, and you need a bit of extra this and a bit of that. And eventually what happens is, over a number of years, is you become trapped in a job, a role, doing a whole load of things that you never really wanted to do. No one starts their own business rubbing their thighs looking forward to filling out tax documents or complying with HR laws.
I'm sure there must be someone out there who loves complying with HR laws.
Only HR people, and even they, are only half bothered with it. So you get to a point where actually you do need a bit of extra business, or you do need to spend some time systemizing, and that's where the green light stuff comes in. And actually, it's the green light stuff, the working on the business, that frees you from the prison. So most business owners, they create a prison of their own design, and then they lock themselves inside. And some people stay there for 20 to 30 years. Other people escape fairly quickly. And in fact, our guests that are coming on later, you can ask Tony about exactly this, because Tony is in the process, along with his business partner, Neil. They're cutting the keys to their own prison with the new business that they've created.
He's on the run.
Really cool.
Are our guests on the run? Is this what you're telling me?
They are. They're not quite criminals, but they certainly are. They're filing the keys for their prison cell.
So I wanted to know a bit more about some of these apps you were talking about, because I am my own worst enemy in terms of being available and distractions, and those digital distractions mostly being my phone and what is on it. But I also have a sort of routine that I get into, a bit like, I guess, when you're going through social media, where you're like, right, well, I'll check my email, and then I'll have a look at the messages, and then I'll just do a bit of work on this program I'm in, and then I better check the email again, and then I better go back to this. And you sort of get yourself into a bit of a loop when actually you can escape that. You don't need to be doing that.
Oh, yeah, completely. Because what you just described there is how you wake up one morning and you're 45 and your kids are teenagers and you're like, what happened there? How did that go? It just went like that. It's all about taking control of what you do with your time. And it is hard. And especially if you're an MSP, because you are paid to deal with other people's problems for them. And I know that sort of comes down on you, but everyone, whatever they're doing, can always take control of some point of their day. I am on Facebook a lot. So I'm not on Facebook as Paul chatting to his buddies, but I have a couple of Facebook groups and I spend an hour a day, in fact, sometimes 2 hours a day on Facebook. But that is a choice to do something to build my audience and to support my community. And I'm very structured.
It's a green light job.
It's a completely green light job because it's growing my business. And I do it in a structured way. 7:30 to 7:45 every morning, I'm on Facebook. And that's a very specific time that I have to be in the car at 8 a.m. to take child to school. And I have other things to do. So I know I've got that 15 minutes, quick whiz through Facebook, do what needs to be done. And then the end of the day, I'll spend up to an hour, hour and a half finishing off Facebook jobs. Now, I'm not sitting there just wasting time. I'm doing specific activities which grow my business. Throughout the rest of the day, I don't touch Facebook. Now, I am tempted, like I was saying in the podcast, it's the procrastination tool of choice. So I'll just grab Facebook and have a lot. But I know that Facebook is a rabbit hole. And once you it's like YouTube. It's like all social media networks.
Yeah.
Once you do one thing, we've all lost 2 to 3 hours on Facebook.
It's designed to keep you on there, isn't it? Another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes. You should really have given her a better name, by the way, than Child. I'm surprised social services haven't been in touch. I also wanted to talk to you about getting engaged, but you got a little bit overexcited about the website you were talking about on the podcast this week and the quiz that was on it. Yeah. And while I totally get what you say about getting engaged, I'm very impatient. And if I hit one of those kind of quizzy things, I'm like, so what if the quiz is not right for the person? Like, what if the person just wants to get in there and hire you, to do business for them? Is there a risk of annoying people with a quiz at the start?
That's a really good question. So you're talking about the propertyhub.net quiz.
I went on. I had a go. I got the same as you.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's Lucy or whatever it was.
Yes, yeah. Long time lover, or I can't remember what it was. But
you're just segging into Osmond's songs now.
We are, yes. Oh, that's what we should do with one of these shows one week. As an aside, we should see how many set a band like Queen, or see how many song titles we can get in. Anyway, we'll do that as an offline thing some of the time. You're right. There is a risk that person that wants to hire you comes in and they're just like, what is this? The reality is they're going to go straight to the contact us page and they're going to get your phone number, or better still, your phone number is up there at the top right. So someone who's ready to take action is going to just take action. Okay. And actually, it's like 0.25% of visitors are ready to take action. In the MSP world, people are very, very rarely ready for that. And if they are, they'll do it. The problem is you've got all these other people visiting your website and they're not engaging. In fact, what they do, Sophie, is they do something called a bounce, where they come onto your page, they spend 10, 20 seconds there, and then they bounce away. They go somewhere else. And if you want to prove this to yourself, there's some software that you can install in your website. There's 2 or 3 different versions of this. The one I prefer and use is called hotjar.com. There's another one called Lucky Orange, and there's a third. I can't quite remember what it's called. But what this software does is it heat maps and records videos of people using your website. So you can't see the people.
Wow.
You can't see their names or anything like that, but it shows you, like if propertyhub.net have it, they would see you coming into their website and they would see what you did. And the beauty of that, because the heat mapping is interesting. It shows you what people are clicking, what they're interested in. The videos are where you really get the insight into what people are doing. So go and put hotjar.com into your website for a month. It's free for like 100 videos, and then after the 100 videos you just delete them and it's free again for another 100 videos. And spend one evening, and this sounds dull but it's actually fascinating, spend an evening watching what ordinary people are doing in your website, and that's when you'll realize, heck, I've got an engagement problem. They're coming in, they're scrolling down a bit, and they're hitting the back button. And actually what we want them to do is to engage. If they engage, they're more likely to go on and possibly inquire with us one day.
Sounds both creepy and intriguing, which leads me beautifully onto our guests today, because just the name of the business, mspdarkweb.com, Tony and Neil. I mean, I want to talk about creating your own solution, but Tony, where did the name come from, first of all?
Well, we are delivering a service to MSPs, and what we're doing is scanning the dark web. So,
all right.
Very simple.
I think, Tony, at this point, you should be asking for an apology from Sophie for calling you creepy but intriguing.
It was a segue. That's what we do. Okay. We move smoothly from one thing to another. So, I mean, we've called you a convict already, Tony, or an escaped convict. How did you escape, and how did you create your own solution?
So, as an MSP, we experienced quite a lot of issues with other vendors, and so we thought there's got to be a better option out there. So we went out and we found some really good quality data that we've now used, and we've built our own platform to deliver dark web scanning to MSPs across the globe.
Well, congratulations on that. But Neil, does someone else, not that I want to encourage people to compete with you, but does it take something like a legal case, some kind of big thing to push people into creating this? Or do you think it's something that's within everybody?
Dark web scanning is not brand new, but high quality data in dark web scanning is something that we're achieving now. So if you were to go back 6 months and ask a company for a dark web scan, they'll bring back data from 2016, 2017, and you're going to say, well, what's the point in that? I changed my password 3 times since then. Our data is pulling back information of breaches from 2021, 2022, which is obviously much more relevant and still actionable. So that's the main difference as far as quality is concerned.
And Tony, is that one of the biggest challenges for you and for kind of MSPs in general, that data and stuff online is moving so fast that, almost instantly some things are useless or are less useful?
I think with regards to cybersecurity, that is moving at a significant pace, and the importance of an MSP having the tools in their IT security stack to help protect their clients is quite important. And what we're providing is that first level of protection for the MSP. So before you get into the realms of device protection, email protection, and web filtering, etc., we're providing that first level of checks, security checks against any breaches against the client's email addresses or domains. So it is very fast moving, and we add probably 5 to 6 different breaches on a weekly basis that are in our database. So, yeah.
Does it make you a more suspicious person generally, Neil, when you're working in something like this and you see all the bad stuff that could be happening?
I think maybe careful rather than suspicious, because you may not have experienced a breach or your credentials being stolen and used for criminal purposes, or your business credentials, but you've heard of someone who has. You've heard of a company that's lost thousands or even millions of pounds because of a data breach. So that, I think, has got to help you to be more careful rather than being suspicious. You know that the dark web and its contents and its criminal activity is a reality. So a scanner, such as MSP Dark Web, is going to give you a heads up as to what's out there with your credentials in mind and what changes in the security, on a security front, you need to make because of that.
Okay, Tony, if people are listening to this now thinking, oh, better get on it, I'm doing absolutely nothing and I haven't changed my password since 2004, tell us where we can find, definitely not quoting myself there, by the way, tell us where we can find a bit more about you guys.
So we have a website, mspdarkweb.com. We predominantly only sell to the channel, so we only sell services to MSPs, and then they obviously resell the product onto their client base. So the website is the first point of call, and all access to viewing demos and getting pricing, etc., can be done via the website.
Amazing stuff. Thank you both for joining us. And Paul, I guess you better go and figure out that dead mouse situation.
It's already in the bin. It's all dealt with.
In the bin?
Just need to wash my hands. Well, what else do you do with a dead mouse? You don't bury it.
I mean, mouse funerals would be the situation in my house, which in which case probably means you're winning for once.
Yes,
you're winning over
just
me.
For once.
Just have that tiny, tiny victory. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back with another episode of Another Byte very soon. And make sure as well to check out the MSP Marketing Podcast if you're thinking, all this stuff they're talking about sounds really interesting. Well, that's where it comes from.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Podcast.
Another Byte.